Hey folks, it's Lev. Welcome back to another video for those of you who are new and use he and pronouns. Today is sort of like a reflection video on I guess the past few months and everything that's happened and how far I've come in terms of character development and becoming a better version of Lev essentially. But first I do want to share my physical health has been really weird lately. It's been really um inconsistent and I keep feeling sick. And it happened before, past few years as well. I'll just start feeling sick out of nowhere, and I've went to doctors for this, and there is no medical explanation. Like they don't have a medical explanation, and so I think it's like part of my nervous system trying to say something to me, or my nervous system is not okay and it's making me feel really sick. It's not food either, and I think my gut has been not processing food so well lately. Past few days, it's not been. I don't think it's been digesting and absorbing food very well. So this entire thing is sort of wreaking havoc on me, but mentally, I'm still going strong. And I did boxing today and taekwondo on the heavy bag, which really helped. And something I noticed, which is really interesting, is that I don't get pain and I don't feel sick when I'm training or when I'm exercising. But before then and after training, I feel sick. So when it's like not in that, I guess, adrenaline, v- body very activated state of because I'm exercising, it just hits me, which is a really interesting observation. First thing that comes to mind is having an important relationship to me sort of end because of my own safety and well-being, and this person was really important to me. It was like we had a romantic relationship, um, but we hadn't met in person yet, which is why we didn't really make anything official. Um, but we talked, we had video calls and everything like that, and we were really close. And then the whole cheating incident happened, and that took everything downhill. And yeah, well, I remember when I first filmed a video about this whole thing, it was really hard for me to talk about, and I wasn't okay. But like 3 months on, I'm sitting here today filming this video and talking about this in a completely different state of physical, mental, emotional state, and that really shows like how much I've healed. And even though I do grieve, like still like losing something important to me like that, like it doesn't healing, it's not like instant, and it's still times where I do miss the person. I do admit that, but it's not healthy for me to let them back in my life. Like I've locked the door, I've kicked them out, locked the door, and not gonna open it again, regardless of how much I grieve what we had. And yeah, when it first happened, it really traumatized me, and it messed me up for weeks and like months actually. Um, until like I knew that healing was gonna happen and that it would get better over time when I surround myself with the right people and give myself time to sort of rewire my neural circuitry. But it still really stung, and like for me thinking that I couldn't live without this person to now 3 4 months on I'm thriving. It's just my headspace about this whole thing has completely changed, and there is still the wound. Like the wound is still there. It's not like gone, but it's not. It's healed. The wound significantly healed, and it doesn't bother me as much anymore. Yeah, and that whole thing really taught me to honor myself and be like, hey, I don't hate you, but it's not healthy for me to have you in my life, and we need to end this because of what happened and how toxic what we have has become. Something I just thought of is we can still respect people, but honor ourselves. And thinking about this, it reminds me of something I talked about at work with colleagues. It's how these difficult times and being treated not so great and knowing that I can be treated better than this, it's really given me a strong idea of what to look out for in the future and what I'm not willing to tolerate from people. It's like I've been played and I've been treated like garbage, and now I know this is what this is not what I'm gonna take. And if someone treats me like this in the future, it's immediate goodbye and not waiting around to see what happens. Essentially, I've been through shit and been treated like shit before, so I know what being treated right looks like and being treated with equal respect and kindness looks like after going through all the shit. Yeah, and I felt like more free after saying goodbye. I've said this in previous videos, is I felt more free even though it hurt early on. It is the right decision for the long term, and now I've met a lot more awesome humans who treat me the way I treat them, and my networks and supports have started to grow out more, and I've started meeting more trans people, going to trans events, just meeting such awesome humans who treat me right, and it's something I'm really grateful for. And if had I not said goodbye to this person, I would not have the energy to actually go out and meet new people and build connections. And so this whole thing that happened is a blessing in disguise. Even though I couldn't see that in the moment, it is a blessing in disguise. Another way I've grown is being more confident in communicating my needs, communicating boundaries, communicating when someone does something that I don't appreciate and I find hurtful, whether it be intentional or unintentional by the person. Just being more confident in standing up for myself. For example, recently I had to confront someone about something that I had been running from for weeks, and I was really scared of telling this person, hey, what you did really hurt me and it left a mark on me, even though you didn't do it intentionally, and what you did wasn't intending to, it wasn't a malicious, like I knew it wasn't malicious, but it still left a wound in me and it still hurt. But I was too scared of telling this person directly and being honest, like this is what happened and this is how it affected me. I didn't tell them for weeks, and the longer I kept it inside and bottled it up, the worse my health got. I started like my pain got worse, and I started having really dark thoughts, and my head was just really volatile, for lack of a better word. Like my emotions were really unstable, and I just miserable for like weeks because I was scared of telling this person. And that another thing is that that's really how honest I am. Like if I bottle things up and can't get things out openly and honestly, it's in conflict with who I am, because I'm one to really tell people things and get things out and be vulnerable. So whenever I hide things and don't confront it, it just messes me up. And the longer I leave it, the worse it messes me up. And so I finally confronted my fear of telling this person, and I told this person, and it went well. Like it ended up better than I had imagined it in my head, and the person was really understanding, supportive, and the person apologized like 5 times, and I felt guilty that I apologized that many times because I knew it wasn't malicious, but it still stung. But just having that open, honest conversation, like it's just like this giant weight lifted off my shoulders, and it's a significant moment in my character development and being a better version of Liv. That's one example. On the topic of honoring myself, I'm finding it a lot easier to say no to people, even the people I care about most. When saying no when I'm not up for something, or when my needs like conflict with the request of sort. For example, rescheduling a phone call I was gonna have it with a friend because I wasn't up for it and I felt sick and my world was just chaotic inside and I wasn't up for a call, and I'm just saying, hey, I'm not really up for a call right now. Like, can I call you the next day or a different day in the week? That's just one example, but it's like things like this I used to find it really hard to do, and even today, like sometimes it's really hard for me to do, but I do it anyway in honoring my own needs. The way I've grown is really understanding myself, my body, and my mind more, not and treating with more kindness and respect as I would my close friends, and not like um shutting it down and ignoring it. For example, body symptoms like feeling sick, feeling pain, just diving deeper into understanding how I respond to things, what things might mean below the superficial levels. Like imagine an iceberg. There's the top of the iceberg which we see, and then there's all this block of ice underneath it that's not seen on the surface, and that's how I trying to understand, trying to dig deeper, go under, dive under, and see the bottom of the iceberg, not just look at the top, and like not seeing like distress or difficult symptoms and all these health things as the enemy, but more I'm starting to see it as a messenger, because again my body can't communicate to me via words or verbal or non-verbal language. um Non-verbal, it can't communicate with me through words, so its symptoms are sort of its way of communicating to me. It's its own language. And yeah, just changing my perspective on this whole thing has been a game changer. Also, just having more faith in my own abilities to do things and achieve things, and not self-doubting so much, and just putting so much pressure on myself to get it right the first time, and try to be perfect all the time. I remember when I started my job, I was really scared of calling people. um it wasn't like social anxiety or anything like I had experienced in the past, but just like feeling nervous and scared to call people and do logistical things, because I'd never done it before. And I remember before I called people, it was just like I was just scared and shaking. But the more I did it, not just logistics, just people I'm working with, just calling them, now it doesn't really faze me, but it used to scare me. And me just doing it repeatedly over and over again, and building more confidence and trust in myself, and knowing that I can do this, has really made a difference. And it's just been like 3-4 months, but I've grown significantly. Like the Liv now is not the same Liv as in late April or early May. In terms of other changes and growth, speaking physically, my stamina, endurance for boxing and taekwondo has significantly increased compared to earlier this year or even a few months ago. Just being able to train longer, more intensely, without puffing out so easily, and just like or feeling like the burn in my muscles, and just fatigue in general, and just wanting to stop training. um I don't know, just training repeatedly over and over, and slowly making the things I do harder by increasing the intensity, increasing the speed, just adding different elements together. It just slowly has built my endurance, like muscular endurance, cardio endurance, everything. It's just I don't get tired as easily when I train. I was just earlier today. I was punching the bag for half an hour, and I wasn't puffing whatsoever. I wasn't like, or like, yeah, it's just unreal. I remember when even earlier this year, I was punching the bag and I got really tired really easily. And now it's not like that anymore. And just like training different muscles in my body that I've like neglected, like neck training and like strengthening my neck through different exercising, strengthening my forearms through different exercises, strengthening my calves through different exercises, and just incorporating different new elements to my training to like overall become better, not only at my sport, but to be a healthier human in general. A few months ago, I couldn't do push-ups, not even knee push-ups. Um, but now I can do knee push-ups on my knees, my chest touching the ground, and on no knees, like just no knees on ground. I can do more than halfway, which is significant for me because someone who couldn't even do any sort of push-ups, going halfway without more than halfway without knees on the ground is an incredible achievement. Just being able to go chest to floor on my knees is a significant achievement because I couldn't even do that a few months ago because I wasn't really doing strength training. I had mostly just focused on boxing, punching, but now I realize that it's not only just punching that's important, it's conditioning the body, strengthening it, and that force and power not only comes from the technique and the punch itself, but how strong the body is in general. Like my punches are stronger now just because my arm muscles are more built and my forearm muscles are more built. It's just like I neglected everything and just focused on like what I thought was the most important thing, but I just neglected everything else. And now that I started training like literally every part of my body. The results have been just unbelievable. And I wish that I knew this earlier, not just to focus on punching all the time, but strength training, conditioning, cardio, everything. Yes, a good summary of this video is keep going. And wherever you are in your life right at this moment is where you need to be. That's what I tell myself. Like, where you are in your life right now at this moment is exactly where you need to be. And that's okay. And I find that really reassuring for some reason. And yeah, just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Even maybe some days you do less than other days. That's 100% okay. Just keep showing up and be consistent. For example, today I didn't do my full-on intense training because my arms and shoulders were burnt out and fatigued from 2 days ago when I did intense training. But I just did lighter training, but I just liked the consistency, so I showed up and did something anyway, even though it's not what I usually do. But for the sake of consistency, I showed up. And yeah, showing up doesn't mean going like on or all out. Like if you're like in a point in your life or something where you need to take a breather, slow down, pump the brakes, that's okay as well. Life isn't just going all out, full intensity, 24/7 every day, every day, 365 days a year. That's not reality. It's okay to have periods where we pump the brakes and take a step back for our own health and well-being and for our own needs. But yeah, just keep going. on your journey. Keep going. At whatever pace you're going at, just keep going. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you in the next video.